Columbia University, which is one of the poisoned ivies, may be getting education's version of the death penalty. The Trump administration is threatening to pull the school's accreditation for allegedly violating Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and anti-discrimination laws because they were not protecting Jewish students from outright anti-Semitism and violence. So what does this actually mean? Well, time to bring in our resident faculty member, distinguished professor at Touro University and the author of that book, Beyond Proportionality, Israel's Just War in Gaza. That's Thane Rosenbaum. Also joining us is a Columbia University sophomore, TJ Katz. So it's great to see you both. TJ, I want to start with you for a second because, you're living it right now. What has it been like for you as a Jewish student on campus at Columbia?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. It's been a very interesting experience. It's been filled with lots of ups and downs. Every day, to be completely honest, is different from the last. There'll be days where it's completely easy to go about your day and not even feel like you're impacted by it at all. And then the next moment, you're studying it in Butler Library, Columbia's top library for final exams. And all of a sudden, the library is raided with tons of students who are really, unfortunately, inciting hate and terrorism at the end of the day. Being a student there is filled with sort of lots of daily aspects in which you just want to be a student. You just want to be a regular person who's going about getting their education. And you're sadly forced to face a very harsh reality that there are plenty of people on campus that simply hate you just for who you are. And I really think that there's a lot to be done and there's a lot to move forward. And the situation's definitely ever evolving.
Thane, what's the accreditation process like? What are the ramifications, by the way, to Columbia, really in any school that loses it if they do? And it seems far-fetched that they will, but if they do.
Well, Robbie, you do not get accredited as a university in the United States for excellence in anti-Semitism, or for that matter, how you implement DEI programs that ultimately discriminate people and destroy the concept of merit. So you get it for advancing knowledge and not social activism. So the Trump administration has a point here. And I love that you use the word death penalty, because if you're not an accredited university, Rob, the students that come there get no credit for any of the classes they take.
Wow.
So for instance, if you want to transfer to a different school, let's say TJ is sick of the up and down of his life every day. He goes, you know what, I'm going to go to a real school, a state school, not a poison ivy school. I'm going to go to a real university. They won't accept the credit. Secondly, if TJ wants to go to medical school or law school, he looks brilliant. He should stay away from law school. But if he wanted to, he couldn't go there. Why? The credits won't apply. So you're quite right. This to me is worse than what they've done with the visa program, because this is literally saying, I don't care how old you are. I don't care that Alexander Hamilton went here. We are not impressed with you. And you are not an accredited university. You don't deserve it. You're only good at one thing, hating Jews. And that's just not something that universities get special credit for.
And there are third parties like the Middle States evaluations that do this. And I'm going to mention that and talk to you about that in a moment, Thane. But students would also lose an ability to borrow money, financial aid. That comes
Absolutely
with
right.
it, too. TJ, so this week it was discovered that one of your fellow students was not only a self-proclaimed Jew hater, but also had ties to Hamas, as well as, have you or other students spoken with the administration about kind of feeling unsafe? I mean, and what's their reply been when you see these guys, that hate you, outwardly hate you, and you tell the administration, what do they say?
It's a great question, Rob. I think, unfortunately, I have not personally had any opportunity to speak directly with administration about how I've been feeling. That said, I do have fellow students who serve on student governments who have had actual opportunities to sit down with members of the administration and voice the concerns of Jewish students. I think that, unfortunately, the best reaction that myself and my Jewish peers have seen is really to just take matters into our own hands. What's really been super helpful on Columbia's campus is that the Jewish community is thriving there. I'm a member of the Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity, the AE Pi chapter at Columbia, and that's been one of my most massive sources of Jewish pride. Such a strong brotherhood of both Jews and non-Jews alike. And I think that unfortunately that's been the answer that we've had to our questions. It's not a matter of us going to our administration and ask how we can feel safe on our campus, which is so devastating that we've not been getting the answers we deserve, but rather us taking matters into our own hands and showing that anyone who's on our campus, really without directly saying it to our faces, showing us that they hate us and they don't want us here. Our absolute number one response to that is community, and showing them that we are so much stronger than they are. We are, in so many ways, are just a unit of people that cannot be destroyed and cannot be brought down. And that's been our number one answer to all of our unanswered questions.
Good for you. And you know, you shouldn't be a black belt or have to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu to, you know, to walk around campus. Thane, so I want to get back to the supposedly independent organizations that oversee accreditation could be just as compromised as some of these schools, right? Because if DEI is important to, say, like the leftist American Bar Association, which it is, and they accredit law schools, how is anything going to change?
Well, Rob, I'm glad a moment ago, when we forget for a moment what you said about federal funding for loans and Pell Grants. I'm glad you brought that up. Because remember, foreign students, if you cut away their visas, they pay 100% of the ride. And that's why Columbia is scared to lose them, because they pay the full ticket. And most American students get some kind of federal aid. So if you strip them of that, Columbia literally gets choked off of its lifeline for funding and tuition. But as your point is pointed out, yes, you're right. The American Bar Association has a role to play in accrediting law schools, and they are also compromised. The idea always was that you'd have some outside auditor, some independent third party, which is what you've pointed out. The problem, what you've pointed out, is very few schools lose their accreditation. You know what that means? In the end, it's a rubber stamp. At the end, you know, you're having lunch with these people and they're friends of yours, and they're not going to destroy your university. As long as you provide them with nice data points, they go, okay, that works for me. What the Trump administration needs to say is none of this good old boys stuff. These people are violating Title VI, and you need to take Title VI seriously. You need to go in there and say, you have a serious Title VI problem, and that undermines all the other things that you think you do well. And that's what the president needs to be able to say to them. We are taking Title VI very seriously, and that's your death sentence. You let 20 months of anti-Semitism go by with lip service, and now you're paying the price.
Yep. And the Trump administration should drop the Title VI bomb on one of these schools, set the example, and see the rats scurry and see what happens after that. TJ, good luck with everything. And by the way, I think if you want to transfer to Toro, Thane might write a nice letter of recommendation.
I'd love the kid.
Take care, guys.